Good afternoon, Good Shepherd. It's Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. And we are now into that wonderful month of June. Weather's supposed to get warmer, drier over the next several weeks. And that's good news as far as I'm concerned, a little tired of the rain. Many of you may remember a series of commercials from the 1970s having to do with a particular brand of ketchup. And I'm not going to talk about brands because I don't have loyalty for ketchup, but you may remember a number of commercials that had to do with trying to get the ketchup out of the bottle, banging it and shaking it and trying to get the ketchup out of the bottle. And then one of these companies had this really great idea of sort of marketing that and talking about the world's most inconvenient ketchup because it was so hard to get out of the bottle. But the fact that it was so hard to get out of the bottle, they claimed, it was because it was thicker and richer and would taste better on your burger. And they made this wonderful a series, not just one. They made several commercials featuring a song by singer-songwriter Carly Simon. And again, you may remember this song, the lyrics of which, the first verse begins, we can never know about the days to come, but we think about them anyway. And I wonder if I'm really with you now or just chasing after some finer day. Anticipation is making me late. It's keeping me waiting. You can sing this. I'm sure many of you are singing this in your head right now, but this anticipation, and I get it. I'm not going to talk about ketchup, but we are at a point now in our life as a congregation, as a life of a society, where we are anticipating, waiting impatiently for things to resume normalcy, for lack of a better term. I don't like that anymore because it's going to be different. But world where masks don't make any difference and where our day-to-day living isn't disrupted by realizing that, oh, this store still requires masks, but that one doesn't. Or do we have to social distance? Or all of those kinds of things. I get it. We are so focused on moving out of this really, really strange 15-month sojourn in COVID land. And we're eager. I'm getting questions all the time about when are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? Why can't we do this? I understand. I'm there too. I'm asking the same questions of other people about different things. But we're moving through this, and it may be the world's most inconvenient disease right now. I don't want to make light of it at all, but we are moving through it, and pretty soon we will be on the other side. But there is another, not a song, but a poem that I find really important when we're dealing with questions of taking time. And that it wasn't really a poem, it was a letter that was written to a young man by the great Jesuit scientist and theologian philosopher Teilhard de Chardin. And I may have used this with you before, but again, I think it's germane for the time that we are in and speaks to our impatience. And it goes something like this. Above all, trust in the slow work of God. We are quite naturally impatient in everything to reach the end without delay. We should like to skip the intermediate stages. We are impatient of being on the way to something unknown, something new. And yet, it is the law of all progress that it is made by passing through some stages of instability, and that it may take a very long time. I'm just going to stop there because the rest of it is really addressed to the recipient of the letter at that time. But I think these words really do speak to our experience. There is slow work that is being done, both in general, but also slow work that is being done at church. And you'll see it when you get back, you'll see some things that have changed, and that's great. But trust in that slow work, and as we move through, keep the anticipation, because it will be wonderful. And it is wonderful for those folks who have been able to come back, and have seen one another and have been able to be in the sanctuary. You can come back. We're meeting at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings. We'll probably be outside this coming Sunday because it looks like the weather's going to be good. But we're working on getting back. And I just want to be clear about that we are moving faster, I think, than a lot of people expected. We keep getting new bits and pieces of news that make that process a little easier, a little quicker. But we are moving. We'll be making a variety of changes over the next several weeks, as the vestry considers all of the various factors that are involved. So anticipation, yes, it's making us wait. But there is something in the waiting that is also a spiritual discipline, certainly. And figuring out where God is in the waiting, just as much as where God is at sort of the culmination or the end point of all of this. God's there in the middle of all of it. And we're looking forward to seeing what's in store. Really, that's about all I have to say, other than to invite you to, when you see the link to vote of what the lessons are going to be for the following week, the results of the vote for that was taken last Sunday for what I'm going to preach on this coming Sunday was neck and neck, but the epistle lesson, 2 Corinthians 4:13 to 5:1, beat the gospel lesson by one vote. So I will certainly spend probably more time on the epistle than the gospel, but the gospel will get its due. And I look forward to sharing that with you. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy the improving weather, and I'll see you on Sunday.